Okay, so do you wanna introduce today's topic then?
Yes. Let's introduce the red mist. Yes. Because as I was explaining you just before we started recording, there was somebody in one of the groups I belong to, a young mother. She's got kids, but two preschool children.
That sounds hideous.
Yeah. She was looking for advice on how to deal with ADHD and the red mist. And as we spoke about, you don't need to have children to experience this complete sense of fuck my life, everybody fuck off kind of feeling.
I was gonna be like, no, fuck their life. That's how my red mist manifests itself. Sometimes fuck my life, actually, because I get mostly my anger is directed at myself, but like sometimes I do just want to punch people until my fist goes through their face.
Yeah, probably not politically correct to say this, but if you feel it, then it's valid, I think.
If you feel it, then it's valid. I would never do it. Like, I would never do it. Obviously, I don't think I've ever punched anyone in my life. I'm trying to think. Not even in self-defense. I've just like folded like a flannel.
Right. Have you ever thrown things? That used to be my go-to before I became so obviously calm as I am now.
I have, and I'm kind of laughing as I say this, but it's not funny. It's a massive source of shame. Massive source of shame. I threw my phone across the room only a few weeks ago. My phone has been in rock pools and toilets, and it seems to be indestructible. So I'm like, well, that's fine. I slammed the door in the kitchen so hard that I cracked one of the glass panels, which is still cracked because there's no point. I've punched a wall so hard I've made my knuckles bleed, which was really a stupid thing to do because then I was super angry about that as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's double shame when you break things, isn't it? Because you just think, or replace that now, idiot.
The other thing that I did, this is also not at all funny. I can't remember. I can't remember what I did. I think I dropped a piece of bread on the floor.
Right.
Which is obviously the worst thing in the world. And I threw the knife across the kitchen. I hasten to add, nobody else in the kitchen except me. And it kind of stuck in the washing up bowl and did that cartoon. And then obviously the washing up bowl leaked after that.
Oh. Well, that's some ninja shit, though.
Yeah, I did after that. I was like, maybe I should take up knife throwing. And I'm kind of saying this in a light-hearted manner because it's like that's how I cover the fact that I feel a lot of shame about this stuff. So, yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I used to. I haven't done it so much recently, and I don't know if it's because I've just learned more tools or that maturity and getting older has taken some of the sting out of the red mist. But I definitely used to. I mean that I've the Fawlty Towers sketch where Basil Fawlty beats his car
with a stick. Yeah.
That is the kind of absurdity that I definitely used to fall into, and I used to if things were broken, say like I've actually smashed my mobile phone simply because it wouldn't work, and I've smashed it repeatedly against work surfaces, and
just obviously going to help.
It's for that split second, it really does feel like it's helping to discharge some kind of rage onto something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and it's I don't know, because it's like, and like I don't want to lose my shit like that because it is a loss of control. But like at the same time, it's like, how do you then direct it? And because sometimes I do manage, because like I have, obviously this is something that I'm working on. I work on myself and all the rest of it. And so it's like, take a moment and count to 10. But sometimes there's like literally no time to do that. It's like thing happens and it's so instant that before I know what I've done, I've like thrown a knife across the room or, punched a wall or something. And I hasten to add, I've only ever thrown one knife across one room ever.
That's good.
But yeah, or it's like I will just scream. Like I will just stand there and just scream because I feel like if I don't, I will explode. Like I will literally, my head will explode.
Yeah. I've actually had a screaming fit on a Channel Island ferry before, which was a bit embarrassing.
That's really specific. Why?
Well, I just remember it so well because of the level of shame that was involved, that I was stood up at a self-service restaurant with my kids, who were a little bit excited about being on a ferry, but also really fucking annoying because they were moaning about everything that was on the menu choice. And I was hungry. Hungry doesn't help with the red mist, does it?
No, it does not.
And I just wanted them to make their mind up. And the more I was saying, look, for God's sake, just choose something, anything, the more they seemed to resist and get teary, and the bottom lip was coming out. And then they started, well, one in particular got really gobby, and I just very, very loudly lost my shit and looked like one of those women that you judge in supermarkets for losing it with their children. I didn't hit them. I've never been to that stage where my kids have been in real physical danger because mummy's lost it. Sadly, I know that does happen, but I was just projecting my voice as loud as I could, and it was just it wouldn't stop. That voice was just like, fuck, wouldn't stop. I was just an angry, horrible mother.
I mean, you're a horrible mother, but it's that feeling of, Yeah. I know what you mean about that. Like, because I feel like I float out of my own body and then watch myself behaving that way, and there's it feels like there's nothing I can do about it. Like, once you get past a certain point, it's like you say, it's like it won't stop. And I don't know. And I just think that women never talk about this, and I think it's because when we're supposed to be nice and quiet and feminine and whatever societal gender role bullshit decides to put onto us. But I mean, we are animals. We do get aggressive, and it's like this idea that we're supposed to be gentle and calm all the time is just totally unrealistic. But and I wonder if that's why it comes out in these bursts of rage a little bit for women, because we don't feel like we could express that anger anywhere else.
It could be. It could well be that we just try and keep the lid on it, and it's probably one of the reasons why ADHD is more difficult to diagnose in women and girls. Is I think culturally we are taught to keep a lid on it and probably get really good at it.
Yeah. And I think it's an overwhelmed thing as well. It's like, especially because I think about your situation on a ferry, there must have been a lot going on if you were like a self-service thing, and there's like smells and sounds and food, and then your children whining and one thing after another, and then it just becomes so much that you just lose it. Absolute sensory and decision overwhelm was going on. And when you've got kids hanging off you that are also having their own overwhelm, it felt very, very tough. And I was a single parent at the time. I was on holiday with a friend, and she looked at me in absolute horror, like, my God, what's the matter with you? I was like, I don't know. I think possibly there could have been hormones involved in that as well, because I used to get very bad PMT, which is also associated with ADHD, isn't it? The hormonal fluctuations can make things. Yeah, and because I know that I'm much worse, at specific times of the month on it. But I can totally understand that, because it's like, I've got a friend who was telling me how guilty she felt because she sometimes can't bear to have her toddler touch her. And I'm like, no, I totally get that, because toddlers are really clingy and all over you and demanding. And I'm like, sometimes I can't even bear it when my cat wants to sit on my knee, and I'm like, I just need everything to leave me alone. And so I am so profoundly grateful that I don't have children. I think this is a subconscious reason why I never had children, because I knew that I would not be able to deal with any of that stuff. And so just the idea of having this clingy little person. So for the in the Facebook group that you mentioned, it's just children are hard enough anyway, without having ADHD as well. And if you've also got that sensory stuff, then, it's really difficult. I could not handle it. I literally couldn't handle it. So hats off to her for,
exactly. And it's interesting what you say there about children touching you, because particularly toddlers, they can really hurt when they pinch you and grab hold of you. They don't mean to, but they've just got no sort of sense of what hurts other people. And
a little sociopaths. Actually are they? Because they haven't got that sense of anything developed yet, right? They're just little animals. I'll probably get hate for this, but it's, come at me.
Exactly. I think, do you know what? I think sometimes these things need to be said. I mean, let's not think about being politically correct, because part of the shame is actually attached to all those expectations that we have on us.
Yeah. Because I get really angry with my cats for that reason as well. And it's like, I try not to, but it's just like, if I don't want to be touched, they obviously don't understand that. The same as like children don't understand that. It's just like, and then it's like, I cannot bear it. And like Joe the other day gave me a hug, and I was just like, and he was like, oh, do you not want to be hugged right now? And I was like, yes and no. Like, and I just feel really guilty about it, because it's not him, it's me.
Yeah, exactly. I totally understand what that feels like, because there are times when most people would benefit from a hug, and I'm just like, no, leave me the fuck alone. I cannot have anything else to deal with in my brain. It's just like, I need to be on my own.
Yeah, so if I could, I would peel my skin off, like, let alone have somebody else add to that. So
yeah. And you know what? I think one of the ways that I have learnt to deal with that kind of red mist is to literally walk away from the situation. And sometimes when you do that, you get the, oh, that's it, just walk away, leveled at you, don't you? It's like,
well, I could come back and punch you in the face. It's like, but yeah, and it's like, if somebody is walking away, there's probably a good reason for it. So
yeah.
And if you're having a heated row, that's not a good time to try and have a rational discussion about anything anyway. So, if somebody is walking away, take a second and think, why are they walking away? Maybe they need a bit of space.
Yeah, it's not always a passive-aggressive gesture.
It's not always, no.
Sometimes it can be. I mean, I've seen it used like that, definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure I've used it like that as well. But like, usually for me, it's that I need to remove myself from this specific situation right now. So
yeah, exactly, and that is definitely something that I've used more and more. If I do feel myself starting to feel the rage, thankfully Kev really understands that if I've got a problem and I walk off, that he doesn't follow me saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because he wouldn't survive long if he was like that.
Yeah, I don't know. We do need to. We should be talking about this more though, because like, certainly for me, I have never and would never hurt anybody else, but it always comes back on me. Like, I turn it inwards, either like mentally inwards with like the shame, or I will like literally punch a wall or something. And it's, that's not very nice either, because then you end up with like injured knuckles and stuff. So
yeah, you do. Yeah.
So what are some of your kind of coping strategies, and how do you talk yourself down?
Well, definitely I remove myself from a situation as much as possible. Obviously, if I'm with the grandchildren, I can't just shut the door on them and completely leave them. But if they're sort of like, if I'm feeling like I'm starting to get a little bit over irritated, and just like, I have to back away. I have to back away from the situation and think. One of the things I say, okay, what kind of what story am I telling myself in my head about this? Even if it's things like, I can't deal with this, it's like, okay, maybe I just need to be telling myself that I can deal with it, and focus on how I want to feel. And I think I've done that so many times that I've actually become good at it. It's become more like a conditioned response, is that when I feel that the rage is like, oh, okay, back off. How do I want to feel? And it's not flawless, but it's better than it was. So how about you? What's
One of the things that I've found really useful is I love that idea of like telling yourself that you can handle it instead of like reinforcing that you can't handle it. I think that's really cool. But one of the things that I found really helpful is that I find that I think this is a very ADHD thing as well. I take literally everything personally. The entire fucking universe revolves around me, right? And so everything is about me. Everything's very personal. Even though logically I know it's not, it feels like it is. And so if something is like, so one of the things that gives me the absolute rage is Mr. Village leaf blower, right? Leaf blowers should be illegal anyway, for a start. But like, yeah, just this constant, like, and it's not like a constant noise. It's like a really unpredictable kind of revving of it. It just reminding myself that he's not deliberately doing it to piss me off. That can be really, really helpful. It's still why I've got these. Because that's basically why I had to get them, because I can't block out any sounds at all. But yeah, just reminding that he's not doing it to wind me up. Like he's not. He's doing it because he's generally an annoying man. It's not specifically directed at me.
Yeah, but that's so true, isn't it? Because once you notice a noise that annoys you, it's almost like you just can't tune out of it, and it's like, fuck.
No, I can't, and it gets so. It's a really good example, actually. So last night, I know we were kind of going to touch on this a bit, but like I don't sleep well. I never have ever, not since I was a child. I don't sleep well at all. It's like I will get so tired that I will have one really good night's sleep, and then I will not sleep again. And I'm in about day 10 at the moment of just shit sleep, and I'm exhausted. And like last night, one of our cats just started bellowing at 3:30 in the morning, and I just got more and more angry because I was so tired, because like it didn't really wake Joe up, because he's a heavy sleeper and I am not. Bless him, he did get up and kind of find out what was wrong, but I was just like, I can't remember where I was going with the story. Oh yeah, so yeah, she was like, he went down to sit with her for a bit. And another reason why it's a good job I didn't have children. I could not have dealt with that. Like, I don't know how to do it. And after that, even after she shut up, it was like I was just waiting for it to start up again, and waiting, and then hearing every tiny noise, and then my brain was making it up because I was waiting for it heavily. And so yeah, it was just, but that kind of like not being able to not hear noises. Like Joe will filter stuff out, and I don't know how he does it. So will other like normal people, whatever that means. But yeah, it's just that kind of hearing everything, and couple that with sleep deprivation. And if the lady in the Facebook group has children, she's almost certainly got sleep deprivation if she's got 2 preschool age children, which makes like the rage worse. And so I don't know, just like also extend yourself a little bit of grace as well. I've been trying to do so. Like, okay, it's not ideal to lose your temper, it's not ideal, but also I think there's been an awful lot of toxic positivity around, and it's like this idea that one should never lose their temper, and it's like, well, we're humans, we're going to lose our temper sometimes. And I think that extending yourself a little bit of grace, and not being like making excuses for it, but just being like, we're literally animals. This is, you know, yes, we're going to be losing our shit all the time, but when you get really tired and really overwhelmed and like enough things happen, and it's not an unnatural or evil thing to happen, it's just a thing that happens, and then it's like, okay, well, what am I going to put in place to kind of try not to do it, or, you know, to try not to make it that bad again?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we're talking about putting things in place, what you alluded to with the sleep and the energy levels, the decreased energy levels that make it hard to cope when you're having like overload. General self-care, just upping your levels of general self-care. So it's not, okay, what do I do when the red mist comes, but what can delay the red mist a bit longer, and by thinking about your well-being and your self-care. I'm like you say, sleep is important if you can sort that out, but also things like your diet and exercise can help in order to sort of help moderate those levels of anxiety and frustration.
Exercise is magical. Here is another thing that I'm going to say that's probably going to get me some hate, and I like fucking come at me, I don't care. So like I've seen people on, it's mostly like on the internet, and they've been like, oh, I'm really anxious or I'm really depressed or my ADHD is really this, that and the other. And then they're like, and don't tell me to go for a fucking walk because it won't help. And it's like, actually it will. Like, it's not going to cure it, but it will help. Because so that kind of attitude has irritated me a bit as well. Like, because it's like, no, when I'm feeling really, really bad, I don't want to drag myself out for a walk. But I also know that if I can do so, it'll be so magical. It'll be like, just move your body a little bit. Even if you can't make yourself go out for a walk, lie on the floor and wriggle like a dying spider or something, because it's just like, it's that, or put on some music and dance, like whatever.
Absolutely. That can really help.
Yeah, because it's not like, we're not claiming that it's going to cure everything, but like fresh air, sunshine, bit of exercise, it literally has magical powers. Yeah,
absolutely. And also, I would say probably reducing screen time could help as well, because I find I get more of a short fuse if I've spent a long time either scrolling on my phone or in front of the laptop
which is also difficult because they're literally designed to keep us doing that. So again, if you're finding that difficult, don't feel bad about that, because there's like some of the cleverest minds in the world have developed it specifically to keep you doing it. Like they know what works. So, and it's really hard to break that habit.
Exactly. And especially, if I've noticed if I'm trying to do something on my phone when I'm with the kids, that's just like terrible. I have to just leave my phone alone if I'm with the kids, because if you're kind of stuck in it and they need something, you're more likely to find them irritating because they are just getting in the way of what you're trying to focus on. So, and I know it's not a perfect world, and sometimes you will need to pick your phone up for something, but try not to have it near you all the time.
And that's really good. So that's another thing that I do here, is like, we're thinking about things that we can do to kind of reduce the stress. My phone is not even in the same building as me right now, and it doesn't come into the building with me unless I specifically need it. Like when I go into the house to make a cup of tea or to go to the loo, if I want to, I can go check my phone. But if it's in this cabin, even if it's in the cupboard behind another door, it'll call to me. It's like, it's
you can
horrible.
find yourself looking at it before you've even thought about picking it up. Suddenly it's like, and it's one thing I thought about the other day. I don't often listen to the news, but I caught it one day last week when I was just driving, and it was talking about ADHD meds running out and children struggling at school because their ADHD meds have run out. And I really, really feel for them, that they're kind of stuck without the medication. But I wonder how many people are helping them find different tools and different ways to manage the ADHD. These people, they might still be like constantly on their phones and stuff, and ramping up the anxiety levels by just not finding other ways to help themselves. And I don't know if that's ever occurred to you, Vix, about their obviously there is the what do we call it, the diagnosis and the awareness around ADHD is much more than when we were kids. Also, I feel the environment has changed as well, that it's more likely to make it difficult to live with ADHD.
100%. It's like and this is kind of only tangentially related, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. Actually, one of my microbook clients at the moment is writing a book about the effects of social media use on children, which I think is going to be really interesting. But like, I saw Julia Roberts posted a video the other day that's kind of gone viral. I don't know if you've seen it. It was a picture of her and her niece, and it's a gorgeous picture, and it's like the two of them like having Saturday morning pancakes or something and coffee. And they both look so happy. And the reason that she made the video is because she just got this inordinate amount of hate for it. Like, oh my God, look at her. She hasn't aged well. Look at the state of her. And her whole point about it was, I'm a 50-year-old woman, and this really, really, really upset me. I can't imagine what it must be like for kids who haven't had and I just think that goes in with it as well, like that level of anxiety about literally everything, and the levels of hate directed at especially women online. And it is like especially women, and Black people and people of color and LGBTQ people. Like, it's just horrific. And I just think if you can stop, like, if you're watching this and you've got ADHD, or not ADHD, it's like if you can stop your kids going on social media for as long as possible, do it. Like, I wish I'd never got on social media, and I can't imagine how difficult it must be for kids. But like, you're right, and like, none of it is conducive to making life easier if you have ADHD, because it's designed to keep you kind of scrolling and then stressing, and then it's just the perfect kind of executive dysfunction activity as well, because it's like, oh, I can't do the thing that I want to do, but I can sit here and like do with my finger, and then get more and more anxious about literally everything with that whole layer of social media on top of it.
Absolutely. I mean, the number of different rabbit holes your mind can go down within 5 minutes when you're scrolling. It's like, oh shit, I should be doing that. Or, you know, just looking at other people's lives and feeling how you don't measure up, and and just random stuff as well. Random stuff that just hooks your brain, like,
the silly stuff, like,
why do I care about this?
I spent it was a pleasant half hour actually, but half an hour last week looking at this anteater. There's a famous anteater in a zoo, and he's got videos, and he's hilarious. And so there's kind of lovely bits to it, but like, it's just, there were still better things that I could have been doing with that half hour than watching an anteater. So exactly. So good. I think that's a really good tip, is just to just reduce phone time in general, isn't it? Just reduce the scrolling time, and really, really think about general levels of self-care, so that you're not just dealing with the red mist when it comes, but also, you know, think about your life around it to make it as easy as possible for yourself. Yeah, and like being kind to yourself as well. And like, you know, everybody's going to lose their shit every now and then. If we can do it as little as possible, then obviously that's better. But it's not. It's, you know, if you haven't hurt anybody, then, you know, there's nothing. It's okay.
It's part of being human.
It is part of being human. I did actually have one last tip, actually. This is to do it because I just remembered it. You can, in your phone settings, you can go in and change it so that your phone goes completely to black and white. And that has been proven to reduce scrolling time as well, because the bright colours are something that appeal to us. And so you can change your phone so it's like all black and white.
Brilliant. Do you know what? I was looking for that phone setting. I've got a Google phone, and it reminds me, I need to look again for that, because I looked for it the other day, couldn't find it, got annoyed, and then like, just like, but actually, that's, they probably don't want you to find it very easily, do they? Because they want you to be on their phones.
No, it's in an iPhone. It's in the accessibility settings. So, so you can kind of go and have a look, but I found that actually I stopped doing it, and then I forgot until literally this very moment that it was a thing. But it did reduce my screen time when I had it on. So
brilliant. So I hope that's been helpful for somebody. I mean, we've been quite sensible today, really, haven't we? We've been.
I know. I hope.
Tangents.
Like, it's really, because even just talking about that, I feel like really ashamed about how much I've shared about like throwing things across the kitchen, and like, even now, knowing that it's like, I just feel like a shitty person.
But you're going to be helping somebody, because they'll feel less shitty about themselves by seeing a lovely lady like yourself, who also has the rage.
The rage. Yes. The rage. Oh, one more thing that I do. I channel it into writing. Write about it. Write about what makes you super angry, if I can. Or like screaming, I don't think is a bad thing. Like scream into a cushion or something.
Yeah, get it out. I think it's almost like a form of physical exercise, screaming into a cushion, isn't it? It's that release. Yeah.
Well, it has to come out somehow, right? It has to come out somehow. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Come out in a heart attack in 5 years. So
that's what we want to avoid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just let it out. Well, thank you so much for all your insights, and
thank you so much for your insights.
Help somebody.